achieve their own goals as well. The one piece of advice that I would give to teens would be to never settle for anything less than what you are worth. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2007 keynote speaker tonight, Duwain Pinder.
Good evening. First off, I would like to thank the Gold Medallion Foundation and Ms. Johnson for inviting me to speak at this momentous occasion. I'd like to thank my family for their support. My mom and my sister are out of town. They're going to Chicago to see The Color Purple, so hopefully they'll have a good time. I'd like to thank my dad and the audience for coming to support. I'd like to congratulate the graduates because it says something about you that you're here. It's one thing to start something, but it's another thing to finish. So it says something about your character that you're here and that you've finished. I also like to thank the parents of the graduates because I know that without the parents, the graduates wouldn't be here. I remember 4 years ago when my mom told me that I was going to be participating, I did not go willingly. And you know, the funny thing about my mom is usually when people ask you to do something, you usually ask it as an option, like, would you like, or, you know, I've been thinking about, with my mom, she was more like, you're going to. Tonight you're going to. Saturday you're going to be going to the school of Esther. So I never had a choice in the matter. And I'm glad for that because without that push, without that drive, I wouldn't have graduated from the school of Esther and I wouldn't be up here. So I'd like to thank my mom for that, making that decision. And one thing that I've learned is that life is just a set of decisions. The main thing that differentiates those who succeed from those who do not is basic decision making. History shows that the most successful people are some of the best decision makers. So in order to excel at decision making, one must first understand the process. The first step in decision making is assessing the situation. Then we look at our options. Next, we analyze the pros and the cons of each option. And then we ask for a second opinion, and then we make that decision. For example, an important decision I made last year was the college decision. So I assessed the situation. And the situation was that I wanted to go to a ranked and respected school. Then I looked at my options. I read a lot of material, a lot of pamphlets, a lot of books. I talked with my guidance counselor, my teachers about what kind of school they saw me at. Then I analyzed the pros and the cons of each option, each school. One was close, one was far away, one was respected, and one was not so respected, but one gave me a lot of money and the other didn't. So after I analyzed the options, I asked for a second opinion. And that second opinion came from my two parents. And after I asked for their second opinion, I made a decision on Case Western Reserve University. So in looking at this process, what was the most important part? Was it when I assessed the situation, or was it when I looked at the options? In reality, the most important part of the decision-making process is asking for that second opinion. Excuse me. Now, why is this? I found that the second opinion is directly related to the decision that is made. Over the course of time, I've learned that each decision can have either great rewards or serious consequences. So for me, I would like to avoid the consequences by making the right decision. I know for me, I need that second opinion to make sure that I'm making the right decision. And in order to make the right decision, one must receive a good second opinion. And in order to live the best life possible, one must make good decisions. So you see the cause and effect chain. A good second opinion leads to good decisions, which leads to a better life. So how do we evaluate what a good second opinion is? How do we know whose advice to follow and whose to avoid? I believe that there are two components to a good second opinion. The first component is that person's perspective, and the second is confidence. Perspective is that person's disposition towards you. Basically, how do they feel about you? If you seek advice from a person who doesn't like you, you're more likely to get negative advice, which is ultimately going to set you up for failure. But those who have your best interests at heart will give you better advice because of their viewpoint, because of their perspective. The reason why